Hello, America. Today I'm here with Jesus Christ. How are you doing today?
Well, Larry, I'm honored to be here today. I'm doing well. And you?
I'm doing good. To begin, will you tell me the parable of the lost sheep?
I'd be delighted to. As it is written in Luke 15:3-6, I said, "Which of you men, if you had 100 sheep and lost one of them, wouldn't leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one that was lost until he found it? When he has found it, he carries it on his shoulders, rejoicing. When he comes home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost.'"
So can you explain to me this parable to the viewers in layman's terms?
Sure. This parable means that I am happier when I can get one sinner to be sorry for their sins and return to worshiping God than when I have a multitude of people who are unfaltering in their beliefs.
That makes sense. I believe our viewers would also like to hear about the story of the Good Samaritan.
This is one of my favorites, Larry. In Luke 10:30-34, I said, "A certain man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among robbers who both stripped him and beat him, and departed, leaving him half dead. By chance a certain priest was going down that way. When he saw him, he passed by on the other side. In the same way, a Levite also, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he traveled, came where he was. When he saw him, he was moved with compassion, came to him, bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. He set him on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him."
Are you saying that all people are responsible for helping each other, regardless of their social status and how they view others?
Yes, our social rank is not an excuse for not helping someone in need. In my mind, everyone is equal. Everyone needs to chip in and help out. In today's world, doctors, lawyers, and politicians are higher up, but they still have a duty to help others who are less fortunate.
I think every one of our listeners should take in the full meaning of that parable.
Yes, they should.
Now moving on. How do you believe salvation is attained?
Well, first of all, the person must believe in God and appreciate His saving grace. Also, they must do good works that God expects all humans to do.
Is there anything else?
Turning away from evils and asking for forgiveness is also necessary for salvation.
Thank you for explaining that, Jesus. Today we have the opportunity to discuss why the Romans considered Jesus' teachings to be a threat. With the Romans themselves, we are joined by a speaker representing the Romans. Hello, Marcus. How are you doing today?
Just fine. Thank you for inviting me to speak about Jesus' teachings.
I'm wondering why the Romans felt threatened by his teachings.
To begin, Jesus was a magician who preached to underclass Jews. These Jews thought of him as their leader. He was threatening the power of our King Herod and trying to cause uproar by feeding the Jews lies. His teachings were blasphemy. It was our law to worship the king, and Jesus refused to worship him.
So simply, you were scared of Jesus gaining too much power and taking over.
Essentially, yes. To solve this problem, we put him on trial. He was accused of claiming to be a king, which was punishable by crucifixion.
I believe that is all today, Marcus. Thank you. We are now on the phone with Pontius Pilate. Hello, Pontius?
Hi, Larry. What questions do you have for me today?
Well, I wanted to ask you about your feelings surrounding the crucifixion of Jesus. I know you were the person who decided whether he died or not. Why did you find him guilty?
Actually, Larry, I personally believed him to be innocent. However, I received much pressure from highly ranked Jews. They were angry that his teachings went against their beliefs. The Jewish leaders were also scared that Jesus was getting too many people to follow him. I had to give in to their pressure.
Did they threaten you?
Yes, they did. They were blackmailing me. I could have lost my position as governor in the Roman society. My life's work was at stake. To crucify Jesus was the only decision to be made after being threatened by the Jews.
Thank you for enlightening me, Pontius Pilate. Now we are back with Jesus. What is your take on the crucifixion?
I thought that me dying was necessary. It was okay dying because it was all done for the absolution of the sins of my people.
After your crucifixion, how did you convince everyone that you were the Son of God?
Well, after I was crucified, I was placed in a tomb. Soon after, I was resurrected from the dead. First, I spoke with Mary Magdalene after she discovered that the tomb was empty. I also made other appearances to prove that I had come back to life, most notably with the disciples to confirm and strengthen their faith. After a while, I ascended to heaven, but my teachings carried on through my disciples and other faithful followers.
It was nice speaking with you today, Jesus. There you have it, from Jesus himself. Good night, America.